Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Show.
If you've been flipping around the dial, you may have noticed that all the other news channels have basically connected their cameras directly to what we call the pool feed, and they're just carrying completely unaltered footage right from the Joe Biden celebration. We don't mean any disrespect to the presidency or even to the person who occupies it as of tonight when we say there's a lot going on, and so we're going to bring you news for this hour instead. We will, I think, dip in briefly as Joe Biden speaks for the first time in prime time. But in the meantime, we want to tell you what's going on because it matters. So Democrats in the media are welcoming what is in effect a military occupation of your capital city. 26,000 federal troops there, more than were there in 1864 during the Civil War. But just last year, our political class had a very different view of the National Guard and indeed of the whole topic of law and order.
Oh, my God. So we had an insurrection at the Capitol. We had literally a bloody coup, a real one, with dead people and with bleeding and with throwing fire extinguishers and beating people with them, scaling up the building like some perverted Spidey man, weird Superman powers, you know, it was like Proud Boys and Three Percenters and Oath Keepers and white supremacists and white nationalists. And he is now saying he can't celebrate America because the National Guard had to be deployed to protect the Capitol because of his viewers. That they fill with bullcrap and rage. Oh my God. I was like, what? So why aren't you showing? And then he comes on and then he started saying, so somebody is going to have to tell me what exactly is white supremacy. Why don't you talk to any black person in America? How does that? Why don't you talk to any person of color in America? They'll tell you what white supremacy feels like, looks like, smells like, what it's been like to live through it, to have their parents live through it, to have their grandparents live through it, to have their great-grandparents live through it, to have their great-great-grandparents live. Why is that a question for them? And she, after, Eva Braun there, okay, she went even further. She's like, oh, no, we're not going to celebrate America because America is now communist.
They want Republicans to be vetted, surveilled, shamed, and deplatformed. That's the agenda that the CCP can certainly get behind. But according to our state media here, the mainstream press, none of you should worry about the coming triumph of the CCP or the American elites who hope to make money off of it.
Oh, my God.
Because now that the Democrats are back in power, President Biden wants us all to just get along.
Without unity, there is no peace. With unity, we can do great things. Unity is the path forward. Let's start afresh.
It's a nice sentiment, but how is a nation supposed to unite when one side is essentially calling the other side systemically racist and evil?
America has been through a civil war, world wars, a Great Depression, pandemics, McCarthyism, and now a Trumpist and white nationalist insurrection.
The truth is, President Trump spent his presidency inflaming hate, white supremacy, anti-Semitism, and violence.
Root out white supremacy, starting with impeaching the white supremacist in chief.
Now, let's be clear. I don't think Biden believes that the United States is a racist country dominated by white supremacists. Remember, he spent his whole career working with many Americans of different backgrounds, including Republicans. And he knows that those charges from the left simply aren't true.
What?
In fact, he keeps telling us that Americans are good people. Sadly, though, he's too weak to stand up to the Marxists in his own party.
This was the breaking news that they couldn't celebrate America to break. So that they could tell you again that people who want the United States of America, the United States, whose motto is e pluribus unum, out of many one, they want to ignore the call for unity and continue to stoke the hatred because it's the lane that they have chosen. This is the lane that we have chosen. Wow, that was really stunning. I mean, the America First people did not want to put America first last night. They couldn't make themselves do it. They just can't. And you know what's really crazy? So while I was listening to this fabulous music, and while I was looking at I'd get up, I would look, I'd see who's wearing what, and how does it how'd they put that together? How did they get all those monitors? Oh my God, it was an engineering feat. Okay, it really was amazing. And so I was looking at it and blah, 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 but I was also working. And so I wanted to see, what in the world was going on. And I swear to God, the people who supported Trump, they're peeling away. And I told you that would happen. Didn't I say there will come a time when they all say, oh, I really wasn't for him. I really wasn't. Well, the QAnon people last night, they are so disoriented. Well, we trusted the plan. We trusted that he was going to overthrow our government, which is really, really third world. I mean, you want to talk about Marxist revolutionaries. You want to talk about banana republics and Somalia with no government and, crazy. Then look no further to this QAnon and these Proud Boys and these 3%ers and these Oath Keepers. I mean, all based in white nationalism to take their country back. Right, from everybody else who wants to be a United States of America. Anyway, they were so sad. They were so sad. They were like, wait, we trusted the plan. What do you mean there's no plan? The man that left no plan for COVID or vaccine distribution or a testing regime or contact tracing, you thought had a plan to overthrow the government. They're like, he betrayed us. He just disappeared. He just went away. He just left us alone. And we went into that rabbit hole for him. Maybe we went too far into I don't know. How are we going to orient ourselves at Proud Boys too? The Proud Boys are saying he's weak and disappointing, and he was a scammer, and he conned them. Did you ever meet Donald Trump? Have you listened to Donald Trump? Why is this a surprise to you? But they're shocked, I tell you. They're shocked. They're just, here's one, there were supposed to be protests at state capitals everywhere, right? Well, one person showed up in Albany, in New York, the capital of New York. Now, at first I thought, well, maybe they couldn't figure out that Albany was the capital of New York and not Manhattan or something. I don't know. But then it happened all over the country, like in Concord, New Hampshire. There was one lone woman standing there. Joe Biden will never be my president. Yeah, he is your president. He actually is your president. And the messages last night, the group, there's all these really far-right messaging apps that I kind of look at, and they're just like, he sold us out, he's letting us get arrested, why did we believe him? Good question. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.